All right, let's talk about something huge. We're diving into a project that lives right at the wild intersection of two of the biggest technologies on the entire planet, blockchain and artificial intelligence. We are talking about Bittensor, a project many are calling the Bitcoin of AI.
So let's just start with a really big question. We all get how Bitcoin created this decentralized, permissionless market for digital money, right? No one owns it, no one can shut it down. But what if you could take that exact same idea and apply it to artificial intelligence itself? What if we could build a kind of global brain that no single person or no single company controls? That, right there, is the revolutionary idea we're going to unpack today.
You know, right now, the AI world is pretty much dominated by just a handful of tech giants. And their models are incredibly powerful, no doubt, but they operate as these closed, controlled, and honestly pretty opaque black boxes. We don't really know how they work, or what data they were trained on, or what kind of biases might be lurking inside. Bittensor is pitching a completely radical alternative. An open, collaborative, and totally transparent network where intelligence becomes a commodity that anyone, and I mean anyone, can contribute to and benefit from.
So you're probably wondering, how on earth does this actually work? Well, at its very heart, Bittensor is basically a giant, decentralized marketplace for intelligence. The whole thing is designed to create this fiercely competitive environment where the very best AI models rise to the top and get rewarded for what they contribute.
The way it does this is pretty clever. The entire marketplace is built on something called subnets. Just think of each subnet as its own specialized department, hyper-focused on one single task, like generating images, or making financial predictions, or analyzing data. This structure allows for some incredible focus and specialization.
And inside each of these departments, you've got the workers. They're called miners. And no, these aren't folks with pickaxes. The miners are the actual AI models themselves, all competing against each other to provide the best possible output for their specific task.
Okay, so you've got all these AI models competing, but how do you know which one's any good? Well, that's where the validators come in. You can think of them as the judges of the network. Their entire job is to constantly test and score the miners, creating this non-stop feedback loop that basically forces everyone to get better.
So this is the crucial part. It all comes down to this really simple, elegant loop. A task gets requested on a subnet, miners all scramble and compete to produce the best answer. Then, the validators score their performance based on things like speed, accuracy, or even creativity. And then, this is the key, the top-performing miners get rewarded with Bittensor's native token, called Tau. This is what the network calls proof of intelligence. It's a brilliant system designed to make sure that value, in the form of Tau tokens, flows directly to whoever is producing the most valuable intelligence.
Now, for a long time, a pretty small group of validators got to decide which of these subnets got the most rewards. But a massive upgrade in early 2024, called Dynamic Tau, or DTAU for short, completely changed the game. It transformed the network into something way more powerful.
And this quote right here, it just nails the spirit of the change. The DTL upgrade is all about moving away from some closed-off committee and turning the entire network into a dynamic, open market that pretty much functions like a decentralized venture capital fund.
This was a massive shift, you guys. Before DAO, rewards were handed out top-down by a committee. After DAO, it's a bottom-up process, driven by the open market. And what's so important to understand is that this moves the power from a small group of technical experts to everyone. Tau holders now get to decide which AI projects look the most promising and where the network's resources should go.
So under this new model, think of it like this. The DTAO system itself is like an automated VC fund. Each subnet has its own alpha token, which is basically like getting startup equity for that specific AI project. And that makes TAO holders the investors, staking their tokens on the subnets they believe will succeed, which directs capital and lets them share in the rewards. Okay, so we've covered a lot of the theory. It sounds cool, right? But is any of this, real? Is it actually being used for anything? Let's look at some tangible, real-world applications that are running on the network right now.
This is absolutely incredible. Check out Subnet 72, which is known as Natix's Street Vision. It's what's called a Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Network, or DPIN. It's using data from the cameras of over 250,000 contributors, a lot of them in Tesla vehicles, to literally map the world in real time. This kind of data is crucial for improving things like roadwork detection, navigation, and ultimately, autonomous driving systems.
And it's not just about consumer tech. Subnet 25 is dedicated to one of the most complex computational problems in all of science, protein folding. By harnessing the network's massive distributed computing power, it has already modeled over 160,000 proteins. That has the potential to dramatically, and I mean dramatically, accelerate drug discovery and biomedical research.
And here's the thing about AI. It's hungry. It needs data, a ton of it. Well, Subnet 42 is tackling this problem head-on. It has already scraped over 320 million real-time data points from public sources. This is creating a foundational open-source dataset that other subnets, or really anyone, can use to train new, more powerful AI models. You see how that creates this powerful compounding effect across the whole ecosystem?
So yeah, this is clearly not just some theoretical experiment anymore. It's a rapidly growing ecosystem. But Bittensor isn't alone. The race to build the future of decentralized AI is seriously heating up, and the stakes are just enormous.
So let's take a look at the competition, because this is a real horse race. Bittensor, with a market cap floating around $3.3 billion, is obviously a major player, but it's now facing a newly formed giant, the Artificial Superintelligence Alliance. This is a huge merger of three other big decentralized AI projects, Fetch.ai, SingularityNet, and Ocean Protocol, creating a combined behemoth with a market cap of over $7.6 billion. This just goes to show you how serious this space is becoming.
And why is everyone scrambling to get a piece of this? Well, the prize is just staggering. The global AI market is projected to be worth nearly $1.8 trillion by 2032. The question isn't just who will capture that value, it's how will that value be distributed.
And really, that brings us to the big final question. The technological race is undeniable, but underneath it all, it's a philosophical one too. As AI becomes more and more woven into the fabric of our lives, we have to ask ourselves, will its future be built on open, permissionless protocols like BitTorrents, where it's accessible to everyone? Or will it stay locked away in the walled gardens of a handful of corporations, controlled by just a few? The answer to that question, well, it's probably going to define the next century.